What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cars and Coffee St. Louis podcast. My name is Ben Schneider, and I'm here with my co-host, Craig Whitehead. We have not been doing
Hey guys.
we have not been doing these as often as we'd like to. With the quarantine, a lot of things, I thought I'd have more time, but it actually seems like there's a lot more going on than I thought. But we're here with another episode, and we have a good one today because today we have Grant Palmer with Grant Palmer Racing and his father, Tony. These guys they're awesome. They're doing some really impressive stuff, and they're local here from St. Louis. So we're very, very excited to introduce you guys. We're also going to go over some of the updates with COVID. I know that's what everybody's talking about right now. And I think Craig has some things to say too. We might even go live or something to get some questions from you guys later. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Grant, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Good, man?
Oh, doing great. Doing great. Excited to hear about your upcoming future after following you for several years, seeing some of the great things you've done, trying to chase you around a racetrack and realizing I'm an old slow turd. It's just exciting to see the great improvement you have been doing over the last 2 years that I've known you, and we're just so excited to hear about what you got to say tonight.
Yeah. So the last time I saw Grant, if you're listening to the video podcast, I was in this here red Lamborghini Huracan Performante, and there's Grant in the F4 car. So Grant is the driver for Grant Palmer Racing, which is an F4 team. And I guess, I know a little bit about F4, but Tony, Tony or Grant, whoever wants to answer this, can you kind of explain, is F4 a lot of people start with like karting, right? And then they move up. Is the F4 the next logical step after karting? Or is there something in between? Because I know there's like F3.
Grant Palmer Racing is more of a brand name, which helps us sort of work with F4 teams. And that car was the DC Autosports F4 car. And we will actually, I'm pretty sure on the 29th through the 31st, we will be back at Gateway in that same car in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
So I'm very excited for that. You guys should come out and come see it.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
I just signed so there was a petition that Chris Blair sent me because they're trying to reopen Worldwide Technology Raceway, because I don't know if you guys have seen, but
I got the email.
The street racing. Did you see all the illegal street racing that's been going on? These like car meetups.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit out of hand. But back to your question about sort of the ladder. Usually you come out of karting around whatever age you feel comfortable.
Sure.
And some drivers tend to go over toward F4 because it's more you want to be seen driving the car with wings and slick tires, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, it does.
There's another route toward Formula 1600, which is basically F4, but you take off the wings. And
is that like Formula Ford?
Yeah, it's kind of like Formula Ford.
What did you call it? Sorry, what did you call it?
I think I called it Formula 4 or 1600.
Yeah, but it's 1600 series.
1600 series.
And you have an H pattern that you use instead of the paddle shifters.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah, so everybody at home that's wondering, like what he's talking about, you can see here. This is what it looks like. Can you see that, Grant?
Yeah, there you go.
These cars here, so they take off the arrow basically, right?
Yeah, and then there's no rev limiter, so you have to be very careful, and your shifting has to be pretty much perfect. So when I go back to the UK, that's what I'll be driving.
There's no rev limiter.
No, so if you miss the shift, you blow up the engine.
You grenade the engine. That's unbelievable. Well, I'm sure that's really good practice for the people that do go that route. That's nuts. Well, cool. So you skipped that though, right? You just went straight to F4.
So we kind of did it backwards. Where we're doing both right now. So we went to F4. Well, I didn't exactly skip it. I went to the Lucas Oil School of Racing, which is basically an F1600, but they gave it paddle shifters because it's a school.
When did you
And
do that, Tony?
I did that. My first time in that car was July of 2018,
Okay.
and I went to their scholarship shootout in December of 2018. And I was one of the finalists on the third day.
Wow.
And then the first race weekend we did was at Laguna Seca. It was 3 races, and we finished 4th on the first day, and then back to back second place finishes
Jeez. And
for
Laguna
my
Seca is
first time
a crazy
there.
track too. I
Yeah, it
mean,
was. I really want to go back.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like people that are watching the video, look at that. It is
I
the cork.
I remember a story of you telling me going a little too fast in the first corner your first time around, and
Wow.
kind of freaking out a little bit. The time we
No,
talked at
Well, the elevation is insane.
I went into the corkscrew the first time. The first time I really went for it, I went in a little too fast, and I went in a little too fast, and it was just like you feel the drop,
Yeah.
and the
Well, there's
car
been
really
some really
became.
nasty accidents when the
Yeah,
corks.
there've been a couple, but 90% of the crashes, from the very beginning of that track, it's become really rare for people to become injured or worse on a racetrack.
Yeah.
You
A lot
can
of
look at
safety.
Ryan Newman, for example. Everyone was very scared, but he walked out of the hospital less than 48 hours later with his 2 daughters.
Yeah. Well,
So,
most recently, this one here, I don't know if you guys can see it up on the
oh
screen.
yeah, that
This
was
one was pretty wild in the Huracan Super Trofeo, right?
yeah, that
Uh,
was the teammate of Pippa Mann, I believe. And Pippa Mann actually
it was a
helped coach
woman, right?
me. She helped coach me my first time in the Lucas Oil car, and she's run the Indy 500 a couple times now.
She had a brake failure, I heard.
Yeah, that was definitely brake failure.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's so crazy. Yeah, I
But
know.
it's
Actually, like Andy Frisella, they just got rid of their their Super Trofeo. They switched over to Porsche. I wonder if they were, worried about similar stuff because that's crazy.
it's amazing how far the safeties come in
Right.
such a
Yeah.
short amount of time. And
No,
that's something that I'm very grateful for. I know my parents are grateful for it, and I'm sure fans are too.
well, I'm grateful for sure because I would never want to see you get hurt or any of my other friends that are in the racing industry. Yeah, I've watched a lot of documentaries about racing back in the day, and it was actually like Enzo Ferrari used to tell the crew members not to make friends or become close with the drivers because they were almost just like disposable. They was expected for them to die, which is just terrible, terrible, terrible. So yeah, that's really crazy. So how old are you now, Grant?
I've turned 19 in February.
happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Sorry I'm laughing. That's just
That's
incredible.
okay.
It's so cool. That is so cool. So when was your first what was the first time you got into an F4 car for tell me the story about
So
that.
here's the story about the first
Okay.
time. So June 1st was graduation day. Um, June 1st of last year, and we spent the night at the school. All the seniors did, and at I left the school at about 6:30 a.m. Came home, and I actually won this TV in a raffle. Set it up, and I started watching Fast and Furious. And around 8:30, I fell asleep, and my dad came into the room at about 8:40 and told me, "Get up. We are driving to the DC Autosport facility to go
What?
get a seat fit." And
I
there's a picture of me falling asleep in the seat. So that was
yeah,
my
I
first
remember
time
you
ever.
telling me this story.
Yeah, that was my first time ever sitting in the car. And 2 weeks later, we went to Blackhawk Farms Raceway, and there was a Pro 2000 driver there, and I believe I was 7 tenths off of him for my first time in the car. So
That's
it felt really great.
well, it's a good feeling, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that even when you get
Anytime I
into a
get to go fast.
simulator, which I know is not exactly the same, but like when you nail a corner, right? Like you just get it perfect and you carry the speed, like it's a good feeling. So I
Yeah, you
can't
can
imagine that
definitely.
must be that times 1,000 is what you're feeling, right? Because a
Yeah.
simulator obviously isn't the same, but
Um, so actually, I just now got a simulator. Um, Probably well back in March I got it, but then I ended up spending two. I got this. We got it all built and everything, and then I ended up going to the UK for 2 weeks, and then everything shut down, and I came back, and now I use it almost daily.
sure, sure. So can you? And I'm not sure if I'm sure you can go into this actually. So I got a call from Craig that said, we wanted to do this podcast with you, and we plan on doing it in person. This was way before the whole COVID ordeal. And Craig gets me a call, and he's like, "Hey, Grant, Grant Palmer Racing, or they just signed a deal over in Europe, and they're leaving the country to go do this thing." And I'm like, "What? Like that's awesome." So, what happened? Like, how did that work out? How did you get the
Um,
opportunity? Because I like to talk about kind of manifestation and success, and like moving up, and like it's just amazing that you guys were able to get that deal. It's very, very cool. So, like for the people listening, how did that unfold?
so my whole career, the whole going into the 5th year now, the way that we've been able to move up almost every single year is I just happen to get referred to people, and I sometimes it's the right place at the right time where I just meet the right people and we make connections and we can just keep moving forward.
It's networking, isn't it? it's it's
Yes.
it's the most important thing. Like, you know everyone, and I never feel like right to give advice to anybody, because I'm 25 years old, and I'm not going to act like I know everything in the world. But I have had some really cool opportunities, and a lot of people ask me questions like, how did you do this and that. And the one thing that I can say that I am a professional at is networking. Like just through Cars and Coffee and meeting all these people, I've gotten so many different opportunities. And I always tell people, like, you got to get out there, and you got to meet people, and you got to leave a lasting impression, and you need to have skills to bring to the table to impress, whatever you got to do to connect with these people. And Craig's seen it too. I mean, he's seen how all of this has unfolded. He's networked with people. I have people all the time that come up to me and come shake my hand, and they thank me because through Cars and Coffee, they got a job, or they got something out of it. I know I've mentioned this before, but Ryan Ledesma, we got him he's now like a photographer for a magazine, because he used to come and just shoot free photos. It's just so cool, how that networking thing works, and it is
Yeah.
real. It is a real skill. It's so important. So that's really cool. So tell us, like, where are you? Like, what are you joining? Are you're joining another racing team, or how? The
So
Grant Palmer Racing's partnering, or
so racing is kind of the drivers are kind of like free agents, if you want to say it that way,
sure.
and they need to bring money to the team to sort of make sure that they have that seat, because my one of my coaches, he had a Formula 1 seat, and there was another driver who came forward with more money than he did and bought him out of the seat literally on the race weekend and wrecked the car on the first lap.
Oh
Wow.
boy.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's you still need the skill, um and but more importantly it's networking and money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, in racing, it's a lot of money.
that's why we try so hard to raise money through sponsorship and partnerships.
They say if you want to make $1 million in racing, you start with two, right? It's
Right.
like,
Yes.
Hey, let's go back a little bit further though. You just didn't start out in the F-16 series. You actually started out as, for kids that would like to know, how did Grant really get started? let's go back to your karting days for just a minute. I know that you were big into the karts for a while. Did you do shifter karts? Were you what was the style of Margay that you started with?
So we first started at Gateway. It was a Margay LO206 engine, which they will top out on around Gateway, the Kartplex track, around I think 55 miles an hour.
Great track.
And
Fast
yeah,
cars.
it's a very great track. You can race karts around there while cars are going around on the actual course, and you can look over and see them. So that's how it all got started right there. And then next thing you know, we go to Daytona, and I finished 13th there my first time for a national race. And we decided to step it up. We had been consistently getting podiums. We decided we're going to go to Yamaha, which is faster than the 206 class and a little bit more competitive, until we got referred to Phil Giebler Racing, which was they're based in Los Angeles, California, and they race these karts called X30s, which they're like a shifter kart but with no gearbox, and they are extremely fast and so much fun to drive. And so it's been a really long journey through karting, and I've made a lot of memories through it.
Kids you don't just get luckily enough to just start out in one of these big cars. There's years of practicing at karting. He knows your dad, Tony, has the heart of platinum. I mean, even better than gold. I've spent so many hours talking about plans with your dad, ideas with your dad. Your dad is a really big driving force behind you.
Yes.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the great man that he is. Tony has done some amazing things just backing you. And I just think it's amazing to see a father and son team like you really out there striving for perfection. And I think you guys are really doing a good job on your way there. I'm so excited to see what's coming up for you in the future.
Thank you. So also, before we got the cart, I was 14 when we started, and there was one specific car that I had always wanted, and I used to see it like almost every day, everywhere I went. And my dad gave me a choice.
So it was a cart or a car?
A
A
car.
cart?
I was given the choice of a car or a go-kart, and I chose the go-kart.
That's awesome.
So that's how
And
we
that's
ended
why
up.
you are sitting in an F4 car right now.
Yeah. And he stuck with me the whole way through. I'm pretty sure at this point he would rather I chose the car, but he stuck with me the whole way through.
Oh no, I think your dad's pretty proud. We've had some really great conversations.
Oh yeah, he is.
Now I know the college thing is, and I know Tony. I noticed that Tony has his mic off and might not want to get conversated on it. But I know that you leaving college right now to do this has been kind of a hard pill for the family to swallow. But see how beautiful it is that they have the faith in you to say, we believe that you can do this. You take the time out of college right now, go ahead and make this move, which you and your father have been dreaming about. I've known you guys since a year after or at least your father since a year after Cars and Coffee started. As it's been you. I mean, I think you two dream the same parallel dream, and I really just think it's amazing how great your family stands behind you on this. I've seen your talent.
Beautiful.
I've been on a track with you, and I can beat everybody else on the track. But boy, you make me look like I'm the slowest guy on the track, buddy.
That's right. He makes everybody look slow.
Oh, amazing driver, amazing. Hey, everybody I've raced with that's raced with him, we'll finish 1 and 2. And I mean, I'll be seconds ahead of everybody else, and he'll be seconds and seconds and seconds ahead of me.
No,
I think
absolutely.
when
He's
we raced
it's
it
pretty
amped up,
incredible.
yeah, we raced it amped up. I wasn't that much faster than you.
I was trying, buddy. Man, every time you'd hit that S turn, you'd just get another second and a half on me every time. It was so much fun. If you ever get a chance to race with this young man at a go-kart, just to see the professionalism of this young man is
Do it.
just amazing. It's like poetry and ballet in racing when he races. There's no
Yeah.
squeal, there's no slide. He can see that it's like he interprets every turn seconds before he's there. I mean,
Well, he's looking 12 cars ahead, He's looking two corners ahead.
yeah. So yeah, you definitely you have racing sense. Not only are you a skilled driver, but I feel that you have racing sense. Like it is in your blood. You
Yeah.
know you can read a track, buddy. I definitely can say that for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
at Texas actually earlier this year in February, it rained. It poured overnight, and then it kept raining throughout the day. And I was just really excited to race in the rain because it takes a lot of you have to sort of think a lot. Sometimes some drivers say they think a lot. Some drivers say they just don't even think.
I
And
remember you telling me about this when we did the
yeah,
remember what were you doing? We did we gave back to what was the Craig? We filled the box truck a couple years
Oh,
back
oh,
around
the
the
food drive.
the food, one of the
Yeah, he
food
was
drives.
there. And that was when I first met
Um,
Grant and he was telling everyone how he hits like the racing line in the wet and how you got to stay away. I could be wrong, but you stay away from the normal line because that's where all the rubber's been built up, which makes it
yes,
slick. So you kind of take a different line. So is that
and
what you're about to say? Sorry for interrupting
yeah,
you. That's
and
cool.
it's just sort of like there's some moments where you can just take the regular line, but it's just so much you have to sort of feel the track out just from your body that's inside of this car. And some drivers are scared of the rain because there is a point where you
Sure.
do overthink,
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
and
Well,
it's just
sounds like
staying
you're
on
pretty
the
good at it.
very limit.
So,
Yeah.
how many hours do you train in the vehicle during a camp, or what do you guys call it? When you
A
guys go
test.
to, yeah, well, like, yeah, when you're getting ready to, like, let's say when you get up there to the UK, what is it going to be like for you? Is there going to be, are you still going to try to do school from the UK wall? How many hours will you spend training with your car, getting to know your car, getting to know the tracks you'll be doing,
So
know,
we'll probably
getting
get
the adjustments done?
we'll probably get on a race weekend, we will probably get 2 to 3 hours before the race, before qualifying, actually, I believe. And but for some drivers that's plenty of time. Some drivers that's not enough time because um we keep adjusting the car and finding
Right.
new ways to make the car either more comfortable or faster around the track. And then once when it's race time, you take what you've got either from that track the last time you were there, or if it's your first time, you've got your 3 days and it's race day.
So it's like, here you go, get out here and get as much of this, 120 minutes that you get to actually practice, and after
Yes.
that, it's good luck. So that really answers my whole question that I had for you on the practice. And you really answered the COVID question for me. How are you staying fresh? How are you keeping your skills sharp? And obviously, with the simulator, is giving you the just is possibly the most realistic training you can without actually being in the vehicle. Are you running like one of those I races? Are you running? I'm sure you're running a top quality simulator, right?
Yeah. So I saved up some money working at the Cartplex last summer, and I built I got help building a computer with my roommate at college, and we sold it. basically traded a go-kart for a simulator rig and got iRacing, got it set up on my computer, and the tracks on iRacing are like unbelievably realistic. Like Mid Ohio, for example, the way you go over the right-hander, where it's just completely blind over the crest, and you just have to trust that the track is still going to be there when you cross over it. Um, the the human factor, because you're not racing against any computer, it feels like you're racing against real people. They will make real mistakes. They will
Right.
Sometimes they'll do realistic things because it's a simulator, but sometimes at the same time, it's not real, so they'll do some unexpected things, but that's 1 in 100. um,
Right,
it
but you're
feels
out there to concentrate on yourself, and any kind of a mishap that can be thrown at you, I guess, is really a good training. You know, a good training exercise. Guy comes flying across the track, helping you with braking. I'm sure any crazy haps that happen on the simulator are still good for you to get practice at.
yes.
You never know when a guy's going to lose a wheel or break something off where he loses his steering. I've seen plenty of that. So
Yeah,
what are we looking at?
there's some moments where you're gonna be in a pack of three, and next thing you know, the two guys in front of you, they hit each other and bump, and then you have to sort of think ahead of time, like, how are you going to get through it, and what can you do? And then there are even moments where I'll make mistakes, and then I just replay it over and over and figure out what I did wrong and what I can do differently to make sure that doesn't happen next time.
Man, this is really cool. Did you guys see the 360 video of him driving?
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool.
Isn't
So
that awesome?
what do you feel about abroad? Are you excited to live in the UK? Are you going to be able to palate the food there?
Yeah, I spent 2 weeks there,
Did
and
you enjoyed it?
oh yeah, it was a
You,
lot of fun. My teammate Bryce Aaron was there with me. We met last September in New Jersey, driving F-1600. So it was a lot of fun to work with him and see him again. We actually flew on the same flight there out of Chicago and back when the season shut down for just a little bit.
so that's
So
great. So
Cliff Dempsey, that's the CDR with CDR Motorsports. Is Cliff the owner? I guess.
Yes, but it's becoming Cliff Low Racing.
Gotcha.
Andy is a really good guy. I met him. He seems like a really great mechanic too, engineer, and I really can't wait to do my first race with them. Even my
Yeah,
first test
absolutely.
session.
I mean, look at him on
yeah.
this. Look at him on this cart up on two wheels. It's unbelievable. Is
So
that what's that's
you were working with a group here. I remember when we all met at Eric's place, Walnut Grill, and you were working with somebody here too that was setting a cart up for you. You'll have a totally different cart, right? It's not like they're going to ship a cart over for you. You'll be
No.
using
So all the cars are actually about five. I'll be staying with Cliff and Michelle, and the race shop that they work at is right like 5 minutes away from their house. And I think the first week there, we were ready to go to one of the tracks we'd be racing at just for a test session. But right after we loaded up 3 cars ready to go, they pretty much canceled the session. And then we hoped we would make it to Silverstone, but that was way too far out to be realistic,
right.
sadly. But,
right. That makes sense. Dang
and
man,
all
that's really really cool.
so this year there's a rookie named in IndyCar. He's going to be a rookie. It's his rookie season. His name is Oliver Askew, and he coached me at Sebring for the Lucas Oil shootout back in 2018, and I will actually be driving his car that he raced with Cliff.
Nice. Yeah.
That's
So
really cool,
actually,
man. That's got to be a big for you, because didn't you kind of look up to this guy and
Yeah, I looked up
yeah.
to him and Joseph Newgarden, who also raced with Cliff Dempsey.
Wow. Wow, dude, that's so cool. It's really, isn't that really neat? Like, I know a few people that I used to look up to a lot that we talk, that I like talk to now. They're like kind of my friends, and it's just, it's a weird feeling. It's very humbling. That's fantastic. That's gonna be, I was just telling, I was talking to my parents. I was like, I'm talking to this. We had the guy that we have on the podcast. He's going to be like the next Lewis Hamilton. And one day we're going to look back at this podcast and be like, dang, like we talked to that guy. Oh man. So cool.
What's workout like for you? Do you do a workout program? I know there's no power steering, no power brakes, nothing like that. So this is all, besides the engine pushing you, all the steering, all the braking, all the shifting is all very strenuous on you. Do you have an exercise and diet program that you run?
As many push-ups as possible. Sit-ups, pull-ups. At college, when I would watch racing, I would be doing pull-ups under. So we had bunk beds, and I would be doing pull-ups under them.
While watching the race.
Yeah, and then a lot of cardio, and I would pretty much run across campus to my classes and then back.
Never take the elevator, always take the stairs.
I would take the elevator because the stairs.
Oh, don't tell people that. Come on.
The stairs were on the other side of the building, and you needed the right key card to get in. And I was on the 4th floor. You needed the 1st floor key card to get on them for some reason.
So yeah, we'll give you that one then. We'll forgive you on that one. So any dietary restrictions while you're doing this? Are you trying to? Is there a weight limit you want to stay within to get your best times?
Well, I try to stay within maybe 135 to 145 pounds.
Right.
As of right now, later I can start gaining weight. But right now, that's just how I was during karting. Like every single time I got in the go-kart, I weighed 137 pounds. And there were times where I would go to the bathroom and we would
oh my God,
do a test set, or we would do some laps and then get on the weigh scale. I'd be underweight for the race.
Oh my God.
And it was all because I forgot to tell my dad I went to the bathroom, because every single pound counts when you're moving at a high rate of speed.
Oh man.
Right.
What did you have for dinner that morning?
Like that, I think that night. Well, this happened multiple times, so it can't really be that night.
Yeah, I'm joking. Yeah, I get it. That's crazy, man. Yeah, we're looking at your Instagram. All right, can you see this, Greg?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like, is
there's been
iRacing?
Tony.
Yeah, so he'll do something. We'll weigh the cart before he goes back out, and he either went to the bathroom because he had way too much Gatorade, and it would just literally throw the cart off, and we were scrambling to either find 3 to 5 pounds. And we always kept extra weight because over the course of the day, he would typically drop between 6 to almost 11 pounds just in water weight while practicing. In the car, he's been a little bit more stable, where he might drop anywhere between 3 to 6 pounds. But I think it's a little bit more comfortable of a ride in the car versus the go-kart. So it's a little bit less strenuous on the body right now.
Right.
So when you're doing a normal F4 race, say like at Coda or wherever wherever you guys race, how many laps is it?
45 minutes.
Okay, so it's not laps, it's time?
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
I've ended up competing in SCCA, F4 stuff. That's the Coda video right there. That's SCCA. and I think this was one of my favorite moments, my dad's least favorite moments. And you'll see really quickly, it was in the rain, and right about here, right there.
So I'm
Yeah.
missing that.
um you can even see, like, I kind of wipe my
Oh my god.
my forehead. I can actually try and pull that up for you, so it's a bigger view if you want me to.
Yeah, pull it up on
Yeah,
the screen, man.
yeah.
Here, I'll stop sharing. Yeah, if you guys aren't
Yeah.
so for everyone listening, you know, we're
It
doing
says
this
you
audio only podcast, but now that we are forced to use Zoom because of the quarantine, now we're doing video. So all the new episodes are going to be uploaded to YouTube, and if you want to see Craig's beautiful face and the cool videos that we're showing of Grant racing, you know, head over to the YouTube channel and watch it there. You know, we don't care where you watch it, just, you know, as long as you get to see it, we're not
it
worried.
says you have to enable participant screen sharing, so I can do that.
Oh, interesting. Make host. Wow, you'd think that this would be easy, huh? Did you request it?
No, it just says you have to enable it.
I gotcha. Okay, we'll figure it out. So how long are you stuck here, by the way? Like what sorry, no, how long have you been back, I guess I should say? Like stuck
I've
in your
been
house
back.
during this like quarantine thing. Like, are you going crazy?
No, I'm not going crazy at all.
You're not going crazy? I am.
Oh.
Yeah, don't be ashamed.
So I've been here since March 26th, and I've just been inside. The first time I actually drove, or the first time I left the house,
Yeah.
was when I went to go drive just for a little bit. And other than that, I've just been inside.
Yeah.
You know, like, Indy cars kept us entertained with their iRacing series. So is NASCAR. IMSA's done it too. It's really cool how there's still racing going on.
Yeah, we talked about that in a previous podcast. How, 'cause I'm a huge IMSA fan.
Excuse me.
So seeing all my favorite drivers like hop into iRacing and you know and just start, you know, dominating on track, because it's iRacing is so realistic. It's so hard. Like, you know, on Forza, you know, like I play Forza Motorsport 7. I'm pretty dang fast. Like I can, you know, I don't spin out without traction control, ABS. You know, I don't need any of that, and I think I'm pretty good. And I recently set up a virtual reality racing simulator with an HTC Vive at my buddy David Porter's house, and I did iRacing, a little bit of iRacing, and I could not like do 2 laps without spinning out. I was like, wow, this is
Yeah,
extremely intense. So seeing everyone just jump, it goes to show, it just kind of shows you how realistic iRacing is. Whenever you have professional racing drivers that can just hop right in for the first time, you know, they probably just got it in the mail and set it up for the first time before they started the race, and they're just like, you know, they're just dominating. It's very, very cool to see.
it's
Did you get?
it's a lot of fun. I just wish there was a sense of speed, though, that you feel throughout your body instead of just your depth perception.
Yep.
But technology isn't there yet.
You need to feel the G-forces, just because I'm sure when you're driving your car, you're like kind of one with the car. Like it feels like an extension of your body, right?
So NASCAR came back today.
Yes, NASCAR did come back.
What do you mean?
So they first NASCAR.
They raced at Darlington.
Really?
Yeah, that was today.
So there's hope for the future, guys. There's hope for the future.
And Kevin Harvick won that race. I think it was a random grid order where everyone just drew for where they start.
Oh, I think.
And also, Ryan Newman came back from his crash that he had at the Daytona 500.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Good. That's good to hear, man.
And he finished 15th, which is, you know, considering there's 40 cars in NASCAR and he's been out since February. They had 4 races this year already, but to come back and then be 15th after being out for so long, it's really great to see.
Hey Grant, I fixed the settings so now you can
Okay.
share.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. IT
And after
support
the
on the
accident,
fly.
always a little boom. But look at that. It's great to see too, especially after an accident. That shakes somebody's confidence, and to see him move up the pack like that today was pretty cool.
You'll have to go back and watch that race.
So for you, Grant, after racing for the season? Will you try to go back and get some schooling done? Are you going to try to school while you're racing?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and go online. We're gonna try and do that while I'm racing, and that'll keep it a little bit easier, and we can manage uh to do both at once and not miss any classes. Oh, here we
Thinking
go.
young man.
It took me dragging some stuff around a little bit to
Oh, perfect.
you can see that,
Grant,
right?
look at you. Yeah, IT professional Grant. Look at you go.
So this was Coda in February, and most fun
Those
I've
Coda in
had.
February.
Yes, this was in February.
And this is the 16 series, 1600.
This is
Oh, that's F4.
SCCA, and I was in the F4 car with
Right on.
DC Autosport.
That's
That's
the people
awesome,
we
man.
met. That's the people we met here in St. Louis. We went to the shop.
A little sneak peek.
Yes,
Yes, very nice people. Very nice people.
Don is one of one of my favorite people to work with, and he uses his head a lot when he comes to the setup of the car and the tire choice for this race, because I wasn't too sure about going out on wet tires. The track looked completely dry, but then once you're going on the track and you see all the water spraying off the cars in front of you,
Right.
it becomes very clear that it's not dry at all. So he made a really great call on that.
No windshield. You got to get. So you're wearing a full face, but that's got to get wet.
Yes, the visor does get wet, but usually the rain just sort of glides right off.
Do you guys rain
And
X and stuff? Do you rain X them or like crystal coat them or something so that the water repels
Like a
better?
ceramic pro kind of
yes,
thing.
yes, and so this car right here, he's in a different class. He has like 200 more horsepower than I do, so he'll run away from me on the straightaway. But I think right here I was in fourth place in my class, and we just kept moving forward all the way up to second place.
That's incredible. It
That is
really is.
awesome.
Like, I'm not just tooting your horn, man. That's really, really cool.
The driving looks great, man. Your lines and stuff are beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank
you do
you.
have beautiful lines, and that is an art form. And a lot of people don't understand, and I don't fully understand. I do a lot of. I'm a nut, and I've seen all the videos and done all the simulators and stuff, but nothing. I'm sure nothing compares to that. And
Man,
it's
you get
just,
those dots, dude. You know how to ride those dotted
look at
lines.
that battle that you're having with this. I mean, that's a good battle with that. Who's in the red car?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no. Good. You don't need to know. All you know is
Yeah,
a zero.
dude, you're hitting those red and white. Man, I do a lot of like different little race games and stuff. And man, you ride those red white lines perfectly.
Yeah.
You know.
So let's talk a little bit, because this is, my favorite part of any car is the engine. So let's talk a little bit about the engines that are in these cars. What engine is in them, and what do they rev to?
It's a Honda Civic engine,
No
basically.
kidding. Really?
Just no turbo. You get the turbo when you hit F3. And
Video.
Okay. So F4 is Honda Civic engine, no turbo. When you move up to F3, you get a turbo. So what kind of horsepower yours puts down?
probably about 120 to 130.
But they don't weigh anything, right? What do they weigh?
No, we weigh, I think, 1,400 pounds.
That is hysterical. Wow. That's incredible. The Ariel Atom 3S I drove around for a little bit. I think it was like 350 horsepower, only weighs like 1,400 pounds or something like that. It's incredible. But
Yeah.
that's just, so I kind of know that feeling of open wheel kind of stuff. That's cool.
Here's
Wow.
the start. I was overly
What's it
cautious
rev
looking
to,
back.
Grant?
What?
What's it rev to? What's the red line on one of those? I see your
I
little.
believe I believe 8,000. No, no, no,
Wow.
no, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said 8,000. 6,300, I believe.
It sounds like 8,000 though. It really does,
But
because when
yeah,
I saw you, we were up when you were out at Gateway Motorsports Park at the infield track, and I was like, I was way closer than I should be, right there by the fence, and I kind of like my head was
yeah, I
right up
could
against
see
the fence.
your phone going through the fence there
Yeah,
as I
dude,
went
you came
past.
when you came by. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, my friends who aren't even into cars, their mouths just dropped. It's an incredible sport, and I encourage anyone out there listening, if you ever have a chance to go watch an F4 race, you need to go see it. It's very, very cool. It's I don't know, and I feel like it's more accessible than F1. F1's such a they keep it so locked down. Like, are people able to come into the pits and talk to you guys, and or is it
At F4, yeah.
kind of like
Um,
IMSA? IMSA, you can kind of like walk around the pits and look at all the cars. You
yeah.
can't necessarily go interrupt people. That's not what I'm saying.
With F1, basically, if you don't have a pass, you're not allowed on like in the infield. Um, IndyCar, if you have a pass, you can walk up to, you know, whoever you want. Um, all the trailers are even accessible at Gateway and in Indy too. Um, so at Gateway a few years ago, we had a pass and we walk on pit lane. Met Takuma Sato. He remembered
Oh
me
wow,
from a while ago, and it's really cool because there was a car that was on slick tires right there backwards. But you could just walk up to anyone who you want. There was Spencer Piggott coming out of the porta potty right next to us.
that's awesome, dude. Those are your heroes, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Heroes poop too. Sorry.
Well, guess what? It's cool to think one day you're going to be somebody's hero. It's racing such a cool thing. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So hopefully when I get if I do become a professional, hopefully I can figure out a way to get more people involved. Um Especially the younger generation. I think it's something that's really cool because it's there's a lot of physical behind it, a lot of mental thought process, and engineering is one of my favorite things.
Sure.
So
Same here. Oh, I like that screensaver. Is that a 917K?
yes, it is a
Ooh, that
917.
is my favorite classic Le Mans car, 917K.
You can't
Uh,
see it, but I have it. There's a poster of the 12 hours of Sebring right here with the number 3, and it's right next to the sim rig that I'm sitting in right now.
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll share my screen and I'll show. If you guys don't know what the 917 is, it is one of the most amazing looking classic Le Mans cars. And there's a few different versions I know. What's the other one? It's like the 917-13 or something.
It's the one that they
Uh,
used in
it had like
Can-Am.
2,000 horsepower or something like
Yeah,
that.
the
It was
open top.
yeah. It was here. Here it
The
is. This deal here. The 917-30 was what it was. This this car, incredible, incredible. Record setting. Let's see. No thanks. 1972. I mean, I can't imagine driving that back in the day.
Yeah, I believe
Um,
Mark Donahue drove that.
1500. So it's a 5.4 liter flat 12 with 1,500 horsepower. It was hitting 200 miles an hour in 13 seconds. Open top. Unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah, man. Kind of want to build one. I kind of like that. Buy one of those little model cars and build one. That's so cool. So, so have you guys? So I know before you were talking about Worldwide Technology Raceway and how you guys are going to be out there soon. And Chris Blair and I kind of want to show everybody this. Chris Blair, is he the vice president, Craig?
Yes.
He is, right. So he's the vice president, and he shared a petition on my page most recently, if I can find it. And the idea is, so we're having all these illegal street races and car cruises, which I understand that these people want to put together these cruises and all this stuff, but if 1,000 people are going to show up, you're not going to be able to control it. Like, you're not going to. I remember the guy in the interview on the news was like, "Oh, I just couldn't believe that everyone started getting out of their cars and shaking hands." And I'm like, "What the heck did you think was going to happen?" Of course people are going to do whatever they want. You can't control them. So it was kind of a shame. And I talked to Chris Blair about it. He's trying to get all of the racetracks in Illinois to open back up, which will do a few things. One, it'll help the track because they need to make money too, and it will also stop the street racing, because that's why they started Midnight Madness in the first place. And if you guys don't know what Midnight Madness is, it's a kind of they do it every, it's Fridays that they do it.
It's one Friday a month.
Yeah, it's Friday. I believe it's Fridays, and they open up, so they have like a drift pad and drag racing and all this stuff. So you pay money and you get to go hoon your car. And they did just stop Hall Street, and we're kind of seeing this kind of Hall Street kind of deal pop up all over the place. And people make fun of us. They're like, "Why do you care, man? Why don't you just go out there and have fun? And what's it gonna hurt? Who cares if the cops come? Blah blah blah." Well, the problem is when we go out there and we're trying to hold these free events for you guys at Westport or wherever, if the people that run that place get on the news and they just see everyone acting like hooligans, like car people, like we are one, we are whole. We are not, there's not, in the public's eye, there is no separation between the people that show up to Cars and Coffee and the people that are destroying parking lots downtown, destroying personal property, getting on the news. Someone got tased, someone got arrested. Like, you know what I mean? It's all like one thing. So it really is a huge issue. And there's a lot of immaturity out there that really rubs me the wrong way, because they laugh when we take it seriously, but it's something that we definitely have to take serious. So I'm gonna if anyone that's listening that wants to kind of help with this, in the link of the podcast, I'm gonna put a link to the petition, and if you can sign it, we can get the racetrack open back up, and they'll have social distancing rules put in place and options to keep you safe, but it'll give you a place to go out there and actually hoon your car and have fun and do all the things that you want to do without getting arrested.
Endangering.
Right?
Yeah, and endangering civilians, as I call. Not everybody is a car person. Not everybody cares that we can do a burnout or that we're fast. A lot of people use vehicles just as a mode of transportation. And like with Westport, I'm commenting on, McDonald's has a new owner now, and they're worried not about our once a month income for them. They're worried about their weekly regulars that come in and get shocked by us. It would scare them, and they're worried about their repeat customers instead of one time a month customers for 7 months. So
yeah. Can you see my screen? I clicked a different button this time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the petition here. I've already signed it, but I'm on a different computer, so it doesn't think I have. They're trying to get 5,000. Right now they're at 4,491. Oh, 2, 3. Oh, people are signing it right now. Look at that. That's awesome. But if we can get above 5,000, that's even better, right? Like, we need to convince these the decision makers in Illinois, JB Pritzker included, to open things up. So these are all of the racetracks that are included, and you can see Kartplex, Dirtplex. These are our local tracks, but we need them all to be. Oh, that's interesting that they break them up. So the raceway is different than the drag strip, different from the Kartplex, different from the Dirtplex. Interesting.
Yeah, I think they're all LLC differently because of different insurance issues. But
Sure.
yeah, that's really the best thing we're going to be able to do. And if we can get these people that want to cruise and stuff, I mean, what a great place to cruise through. There's a big parking lot. People cruise. You can cruise up and down the lanes and look at everybody. One thing that Worldwide Technology does ask, though, is when you're racing, that's great. But when you're in the public areas, they do have a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit, and they would like you to adhere to that. We know your adrenaline's pumped up during the race times, but when you get off the track, you got to reel it back in and go ahead and do the speed limit.
I feel like you're taking a shot at me. Craig.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about you, but
I got in trouble.
Me too. I've done it too.
Trouble. Yeah, I took the aerial at him. I took some people on a ride, and I couldn't help myself, and I totally got in trouble by the staff, and I felt bad. So, yeah,
and plus you are.
We've all done it though. That's the thing. It's like we're not here sitting here acting like we're saints. We make
right,
mistakes.
but we're just trying to protect our interest for you guys. You guys have to remember that no money is made by us. All these shows are for your enjoyment. So, I mean, it doesn't make it worth our while to get in trouble or get yelled at for you guys not listening to some simple rules. But we want to do this for you, but we want to make sure that we're not going to take the blunt of it for you, because you can do a burnout or a race through the place and drive off and be gone. And they're going to yell at somebody. So it's going to be this handsome young gentleman or this crabby old guy here.
Yeah, you are very handsome.
Thank you. Back to Grant. Since really this is a Grant video, we can finish up with the rest of our soapbox at the end of the show.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to throw that in there because I know it kind of affects Grant as well. I mean, he wants the track to be open too.
AirPods 2, no hashtag you suck. Can't keep them in my ears. Not sponsored by Apple.
No, we have no sponsorships. We're lone wolves. Yeah, when you're the boss, you can't get fired, right?
Right, that's beautiful. Especially when nobody pays you for it.
Yeah, but back to Grant. Go on, Craig. You have some questions for him?
I have a couple of questions for Grant. So basically,
and I'll be right back. I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's right. Grant, how many tracks are you going to be at in the UK? How many different tracks are there that you'll be visiting?
There are. Well, for the full season, there were, I believe, 8 tracks. I believe we will be running 4 this because they cut the season in half.
Right, of course.
So it's kind of sad, but at least I'll be back out on track.
Yeah, that's the important thing, is to get you back out there to get you some wins.
But I'm really looking forward to it.
What can you tell some of the tracks over there that you'll be hitting? For me, being a motorcycle guy, I've always heard such great things about the Isle of Man. I've always wanted to see the Isle of Man. That's probably not somewhere you'll be going.
No. But I believe we will do Brands Hatch, Silverstone, Snetterton, and I believe a track called Croft.
I've always enjoyed Brand Hatch on all of my racing games, but what a great track that is. So really besides cool. With your racing, is it a lot like other like NASCAR and stuff like that? Are there a lot of pitting times for you, tire changes? How long? Let's start with that. How many on a hard race? Best track. The ideal tracks of how long does a set of tires usually last you?
It sort of depends on, how long can you make it last. It's a really hard to say, because for some drivers, and also the way you have the car set up, the front tires can go away very quickly. And
brakes too.
The brakes, you just don't want to use the brakes too much, and you'll be fine. We don't pit at all. It's just it's a complete all-out sprint race.
So basically, if you come through with a tire that's bald at the end, you come through with the tire that's bald at the end.
Yeah, but for F4, you get 3 sets of tires for the weekend, I'm pretty sure. And, you can change those out whenever, I believe.
Yeah, but you can change out anytime you want, up to 3 times.
But for for the race, there you don't change tires unless maybe you get a flat tire.
I didn't realize you guys didn't pit. That's
No,
crazy.
you just run as hard as you can.
So your fuel tank's obviously big enough to make a 45-minute race.
Yes.
Yeah, how
So
many
there's
gallons do
no.
you guys have in your fuel tank?
I have no idea.
I know it's a small fuel cell. I think it looked like a 3 to 5 gallon.
Yeah.
When I looked at the car over there at DC,
Yes.
it wasn't a large tank. It was about the size of a large motorcycle tank. So, and it is a 4-cylinder. And you were saying that car was naturally aspirated.
Yes, it's naturally aspirated.
So it wasn't running off a motorcycle engine, or was it was running off? No, it was running off a 4-cylinder Honda engine.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that.
While I was at COTA in February, there was a Formula 3 car that actually blew a turbo right in front of me in one of the practice sessions.
Oh, the smoke came out.
Yeah, it was crazy to see.
Yeah, I bet, man. That's I've seen cars going down the road where it's like an Audi A4 or something, and it's just billowing smoke out of the back. That's insane. I was looking at some F4 news here. It looks like let's see. Have they set an official date when they're gonna actually start this whole thing back up, like the actual series?
Right now, we're more focused on the 1600 racing instead of the F4.
Yeah, got you.
Because that's what we are tied into right now.
Yeah. So to take this a step further, I guess I have to ask you, what's the logical next step for you in your career? Is it F3? Is that how it goes?
It would be F3 if we can raise the sponsorship money.
Well, sure. No. Yeah, I know. I understand it's tough, but I'm just saying, like, for one, I believe you're gonna make it, right? So I mean, we believe in you.
Yeah.
So what is the logical next step for someone, assuming that everything goes right, which you probably will because you're an amazing young man.
So,
is it F3 that you go for? Or is something in between, or?
There's F3 or USF 2000.
Okay.
And then from there you go on to Indy Lights or Formula 2. And then
Formula 2. So what's the difference between Formula 1 or Formula 3 and Formula 2? Because you said is the biggest difference between 2 and 3 is a turbo, so you get more power, right? I guess the cars.
So 2 and 3, I believe they both have turbos. 4 has no turbo. I don't know the whole rule book of Formula 3.
Sure. They're just much faster, right?
Formula 2, but the cars are faster.
Yeah,
and
this
they
is
add
USF
wings
2000. So these USF 2000 cars look longer.
And they add wings and stuff too, don't they?
They'll make more downforce, yes.
Not more wings, but just more aero.
Right. Well, like if you look at the 1600 series, he has very little wing.
Sure.
It's basically like he's driving an upside down canoe with a really fast motor. That's what it looks to me. That's what, because there's really not a lot of would you agree to the script? There's really not a lot of downforce. I mean, you got two small downforce wings up front. Yours didn't really have one up behind it, did it? Over your head.
The front and rear wing are single plane. So
and both towards.
Like on the Formula 2 car, if you look really closely, you can see multiple elements on it. So you can see the main plane, and then there's two more elements that generate downforce on the front wing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm looking at these F2 cars right now, and I can barely tell the difference between F2 and F1. I mean, these cars are crazy. Wow. So F2 cars are bonkers, man. That's
right now. My current goal is to go F3 or USF 2000, Indy Lights, and then IndyCar.
So 2000.
Really? So Indy is kind of like your
yes. Indy's where I want to be, especially since F1, you do need a lot of money and a lot of connections to make it up there.
Unbelievable amount of
And
money,
it's
actually.
also, I want to run the Indy 500 one day. So you don't have to run IndyCar to run the Indy 500. We've seen Alonso do it before.
Oh yeah, yeah. He just jumped in the car and went, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he has a lot of talent.
Yeah, that guy's an
Um,
amazing driver.
but I kind of want to follow in the footsteps of Joseph Newgarden and Oliver Askew
What
toward
is his name?
IndyCar.
Joseph Olive Garden? Or wait, Olive.
Joseph Newgarden. I've done a little bit of karting with his dad at Gateway.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's been here.
Yeah,
That's cool.
he's really cool to hang out with.
Oh, this I've seen this car. I've seen this car in
Yes,
person.
Joseph was actually the last year's IndyCar champion.
That's
Wow,
fantastic.
that's a beautiful car. Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
It's
So
very cool.
where would you like to see yourself in the next year?
Next year, hopefully Formula 3 or USF 2000.
Awesome.
So it's 2000 just an upgrade of the 1600 card series, or does it go up into like the F3 series style?
So they're sort of, from what I've heard, is that they're similar toward F3. It's just USF is more like the IndyCar style, and they're also a part of the Road to Indy.
All right.
So that's kind of where I want to be on the Road to Indy next year.
That's awesome,
That's
man.
awesome.
We're really really excited for you.
Thank you.
Well,
And then, if I do make it to USF 2000 and we raise the sponsorship and then we keep raising money for me to get to IndyCar, we'll be at Gateway every year racing. So
you'll
hometown,
be back.
home track,
You'll be back.
it'll be here. And I would get to hang out at the like with you guys at the
Yeah.
track.
That would be
That'd be
great.
cool.
We're going to be there to support you. We're going to be there to see your races. We're really excited for you. And we want to thank you for coming on here and like talking to us.
Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, this has been so
Yeah.
cool. And before we let you go, I kind of want to plug your merch here. I know you guys have, let's see if I can pull this up. You guys have a really cool spread shop, and I know people are gonna be in the comments like, where the heck is your merch store? Because we've been trying to get something going for a while now, and we do have something in the works. So everyone needs to realize that. But your store is awesome.
Yeah.
Like this
So
hoodie
if
here,
you,
I want this hoodie. That is
so
awesome.
for the people listening, if you buy some of the merchandise and you take a picture with it and you post it on social media and you tag me, we will send you a like a mask that I wear under my helmet that
Oh, cool.
has my logo embroidered on it.
Well, that's
Oh,
fantastic.
wow.
And you're at Grant Palmer Racing on everything.
Yes, Grant Palmer
Cool.
Racing on Instagram. If you Google it, it's going to say GAP 3035, but I recently changed it because that's what I use for when I'm playing video games.
Yeah. Well, hey man, if they want to get the prize, they're gonna have to find it. So, but we'll put all the links in the description, guys. But you guys did a really good job designing your merchandise. I really liked it. I would like to tell everyone out there that it's not often that we get a situation like this where we have an up and coming race car driver like Grant and a great team and team leader like Tony. Here in the area, and you have, just like you should support local business, you should definitely support your local race teams. So we interviewed Cooper Autoworks. We're all in. We love that. We love them. We can't wait to go down and watch them race, and we can't wait to watch you race here at Gateway. So we're really excited. Make sure you guys follow Grant on everything. He posts a lot of cool content, and I'm sure, Grant, right, as you go into Europe and you start racing there, you'll be producing a lot more content, videos here and there for your social media. So excited to see that. We're kind of, sad to see you go, but at the same time, it's just bittersweet because we know that you're really going places.
The races will be streamed Uh, I'll have to find the link. I'll post it on social media.
Well,
But
send me the links
also,
too. I'd love to share them.
also for other people listening, Underground Carbon makes really great phone cases, and they actually uh, they got my logo on their phone case, and they're carbon
Yeah.
fiber phone cases,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
we
they're
yeah,
also
yeah.
we
really
also
they're high quality. They're even Cars and Coffee phone cases that they
yes,
have.
you can get them in any logo you want. You have to get a hold of Jordan Butler, Underground Carbon, a good friend of all of ours. And not only do they do carbon fiber, they do leather, they do all kinds of stuff. They can engrave laptops, ink pens, all kinds of other stuff. I'll help you out with that. Shout out to them because Jordan's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, absolutely. We have I'll pull up their site here. We'll have, I think he's still working on the iPhone 11 cases because I've been waiting on mine, but he can, he started this really cool business where he can, make you a custom phone case. So there's the Cars and Coffee one there. You can see. And yeah, so that, get Grant's logo if you want to support them, that's a great way to show support to your local race team. And I know you guys also have a lot of super, super cool merchandise. So I think we're gonna let you guys go. I really appreciate you coming in here. I know we did this late. It's like 11 o'clock. These guys are
Yeah.
awesome.
Is it 11
he
o'clock?
probably needs,
Really? God.
yeah, he needs to get some sleep. But yeah, this is really
I'll
cool.
be
I
up
hope
all
everybody
night on
enjoyed it.
the iRacing,
That's right, man. And you know what? I'll be up all night on Forza, but don't tell anybody that.
and I'll be practicing for Gateway. So remember, 29th through the 31st, I'll be at Gateway Racing.
We'll make sure to put that link
I'm
up
so
on the
excited.
video, so we'll put up that date for you on the video so people know about that. I'm sure Ben's Magic can get that done somehow. We love you guys both. Tony, you talk way too much, sir.
Yeah,
It's
Tony,
nice to
quiet
have
down,
you
man.
just here. Yeah, we're glad you were here just in spirit, if nothing else.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. We really appreciate the opportunity to always hang out with Cars and Coffee with Craig and with Ben, and looking forward to supporting the things that you guys do. Looking forward to a food drive later on this year. And so, again, thank you guys for everything. We appreciate it, and wish
Well,
you guys have a great day.
awesome,
All right,
guys. All right. Bye, guys.
Good
Bye.
night.
Thank you.
It was great talking to them. So now, the cool thing about doing this podcast is now we're able to, bring people in for half the show. And now we can continue to kind of, talk about other things. And one of the things we
Right.
need to talk about is JML. Oh, JML Audio.
JML
Our
Audio.
our boy Josh at JML Audio. He has been working with us to create ear savers for first responders, for people on the front line, and then he made custom engraved Cars and Coffee ones for all of you guys. So I believe there's like 100, maybe 200 left, maybe even less than that. You can have up to 5 for your household. I'll put a link in the description of the podcast. You can reserve your God, I can't talk. Reserve yours, and then you'll be able to go pick them up at the shop, and he'll give you like a little short tour. I believe either Craig or I will be there too, so you can kind of say hello to us. But the most important thing is, and like Craig showing you, we have these ear savers. I'll kind of show you how they work. So you can see how they're engraved. So they have these notches here. So when you normally wear a mask, and some of you guys might not wear masks, maybe you don't take it seriously. That's okay. Just kind of be, understand that other people do have to wear them while they're working. So you see how Craig there is, instead of wrapping it around his ears, he's wrapping it around the ear saver. So that allows you to not only adjust how tight it is, but also it relieves all of the pressure from behind your ear, which eventually, these doctors, the first, time we realized this, we saw pictures of doctors and just anyone who's wearing a mask for a long period of time, and literally they just rub their skin raw behind their ear. It's an awful thing.
And
right?
on their face.
And on their face. Yeah, you've seen them around their nose. It's awful. And Josh also has created, and I'll pull up some pictures here, he created like 2,000 face shields which was really, really cool. He actually, I mean, the dude's a genius. The way that he did these, he started with just a few, like just rubber and acrylic, and he somehow figured out a way to make this like the same way like a bow and arrow works. Like he created this face shield. It's absolutely incredible. I have nothing but respect for that man. And he's been distributing them out to all our people on the front line, and it's just so cool. So I'll pull. Oh, I'm on a different computer, so I can't. But I know where they're at. They're on Instagram. But yeah, it's so cool.
But the great thing is
we have
he has
500
done
of them.
this of no charge.
Yeah, they're free. They're free, and we have 500 of these with the Cars and Coffee logo on there, right? And you can pick one up for free from Josh, up to 5 for your household. They last forever, and
they're made of high acrylic. He'd love to have you come by and see him, but please, please, please make sure that you make a reservation, that you fill out the little form or whatever. Do we have a form?
So that's what I was going to get into. So I created it. So the way that this works is you kind of have to reserve them first. Obviously, if it was just like first come, first serve, and everyone swarmed there, it wouldn't work. So what you do is you submit a request with the form that I built, and I will show you how to get to that right now. Share screen, and we will go here. Craig, can you see my screen?
And it's coming up now.
And for the people that are just listening on audio, all you need to do is go to our Facebook, and you can go down to one of our recent posts here, which is our newsletter. So we're doing a monthly newsletter instead of a weekly one because there's not much going on. But you'll see it's called the Monthly Motor, and it's the most recent one we posted. Can you see this, Craig?
Yes.
Cool. I'm just making sure. All right. So on here, you can see we kind of do a little bit of an explanation. You can see how it fits on the back of your head. And then there is a little green button you can click here, which opens up a form that you can then fill out. So it does a little explanation. You hit start. You fill in your name. So it'd be like John Doe. Next example, email.com. So he needs your email so he can send you an email, and then you would put in a phone number because he needs to send you a text, and then you would pick how many ear savers you want. I'll say 5. You hit next, and then you just tell us how you heard about it, right? So C&C newsletter, and you would hit submit, and then it'll give you the information about how you can pick it up. We made it super easy for you guys. And it's just an incredible thing he's doing. If you can see some of these pictures here, this man has created so many face shields for first responders. And you can see in this area here, if I can annotate real quick. So see this? Oh, shoot.
Yes, sir.
Well, hold on. It won't let me draw. Anyway, you can go through here into our newsletter and see all these pictures. Here's the face shields that he made. You can see his workshop, how organized everything is. It's incredible. Here's the machine he uses to actually cut these suckers out. And in his workshop, you could eat off the floors. And it's beautiful. And he's got the face shields just lined up everywhere. So really cool stuff. Shout out to Josh. If you ever need shameless plug, if you guys ever need audio systems.
JMO Audio.
I mean, this guy is probably one of the best in the country. And I'm not just saying that, and I didn't realize that until I went to his shop, and then it's unbelievable what this man can do. It's
but bring your wallet, because with perfection comes cost. So
that's right. Well, you get what you pay for, right? And his prices are fair. So very cool stuff. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. I wish we could do more. I really want to start pumping these things out. We can get more guests on board. We still have yet to do the podcast where me and Craig talk about how we met. And that is such a fun story. And the whole story about how Cars and Coffee started, and the little things that have had to have happened in consecutive order for everything to work out the way that it did. It's just unbelievable. And it's really cool for me to look back and see it. And I'm a really big believer in the law of attraction. And I think Craig was kind of attracted into my life. We both were, and we make a great team. and I couldn't be, happier to see him today, because it's been a while. This quarantine's
Thank you,
really
sir.
killing him and his family. They're, if you haven't seen him out and, being himself lately, it's just because it's just rough, when you have kids and you're stuck at home, and you're not used to doing the things that that you normally do. It takes a toll on your mental health, right? So, cut him a break. You can still poke fun at him. I still poke fun
Oh
at him.
yeah,
So
I
just look
love
at
you
him. Just
guys.
look at him.
I love you guys very much. It's been really rough on us. My wife graduated yesterday.
Yeah, congratulations, Crystal.
Fourth degree, never got to walk down the carpet once, so she's
Unbelievable.
heartbroken. All right, yeah, we thank you guys for all your support. We love you very much. I have nothing more to say tonight. We hope you enjoyed tonight's podcast with my always lovely best friend Ben. We hope that you stick with us. We're here for you. Cars and Coffee loves you, and we'll see you soon.